Gurura ngalamangai, garigunguli, ngalmanyang, ngamri darwalanga. My name's Rain Gray. I'm the chairperson of the Gujaga Foundation, and I belong to the Laperouse Aboriginal community. Our families have an ancient and unbroken connection to coastal Sydney, Botany Bay, and the Illawarra. We belong to the oldest living cultures of the world. Our people have been living here in this place since time began. Our old people lived freely in places like Sydney before the New South Wales government created the Aborigines Protection Board in the late 1800s, which moved us permanently to our current site, community location at Laperouse. Like many Indigenous cultures around the world, Aboriginal culture has an ontology. Our ontology tells us how things came about and why they exist a certain way. We don't walk around saying our ontology tells us this and our ontology tells us that. We use a dreaming. And in the early days of the dreaming, our country was made by Bondi, a big giant sea serpent. It travelled from the north, and its friend Marda, who would be flying high in the sky, who's a sea eagle, be flying high in the sky and would drop firelight to indicate where good places are to drink water or a good place to camp. Marda dropped fire at a place called Parramatta, and Bundina, making its way north, turned and forged Sydney Harbour as we know it today. It departed, and Marda dropped fire at Gamay or Botany Bay. And as it curled up to rest, it forged out the bay as we know it today. And when it woke, it moved south, travelling south, but it dropped off its scales at Botany Bay. They turned into stingrays, and Gamangul, the people belonging to Botany Bay, came from the stingrays. We are stingray people. This story has been passed down through families of the Guigal clan for generations, and it's a story that was still told to us by our old people today. This dreaming story was the first time it was actually depicted in artwork, particularly animation, and it features at the Salesforce head office here in Sydney. I'm proud to present to you the story of Bundina. Thank you and welcome to Gadigal country.
trailblazers. Yes, there is magic in the air. Can you feel it? It's everywhere and in everything. And it's available to everyone. We are at the dawn of a new era, where CRM, AI, data, and trust help you connect with customers in a whole new way. So everyone can be an Einstein, where you can talk to your CRM and it can talk to you on a single platform with a 360-degree view of every customer. But we have to ask more of AI, don't we? Because if AI is the Wild West, well, who's the sheriff around here? Questions about governance and values, about trust and the safety of our data, about customer success, so AI's purpose is always clear. Responsible innovation paired with ethical use, committed to equality, and mindful of our impact. Because when we get this right, and we will, the sky is the limit. We can make a world where AI does what AI does best, so we humans can do what we do best, and continue to prove that business is the greatest platform for change. Welcome to the biggest AI event of the year, where innovation meets inspiration, meets entertainment. So raise your hands in the air, because it is gonna be, extraordinaire. Welcome to a whole new Salesforce.
Please welcome EVP and GM, Australia and New Zealand, Salesforce, Frank Fillmann.
Hello and welcome, Sydney. Welcome everyone to the Salesforce World Tour, Sydney. We're so excited to be here. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad you're here. Special thanks to Ray and the Gujaga Foundation for that incredible story. We at Salesforce are excited to double down on our RAP investment. We're blessed to be on Gadigal land. By way of introduction, I'm Frank Fillmann. My first trip to Sydney ever was 1 year ago, and I came right here. I loved it so much, I got my trusty RMs, went over to MJ Bale, got my rap-inspired suit, and then decided to go ahead and move my family of 6 across the world. We're blessed to live on Camaragal land and be a part of this incredible community. I don't know about you all, but the last year, the pace of innovation, change, technology, and especially AI has been nothing short of overwhelming. What we want to do today is decode and demystify what's happening in the industry, what's happening at Salesforce, and how do we make everyone an Einstein. But first, as we celebrate 20 years in Australia, we want to say thank you to our MVPs, our trailblazers, our customers, our partners and sponsors, the entire events and marketing team that have put this together. I saw some gold hoodies in the crowd. Those are really hard to get. It's so great to see you all. Our trailblazing community, the data fam, it's lovely to see everyone here, and we're so excited. What a day we have in store for you. Do we have any Kiwis in the house? Okay, he's normally much louder than that. Do we have anyone from Woolworths in the house? We've got 192 folks in here from Woolies, incredible to see. Anyone from NAB in the house? I see you right here. We have an incredible show for you all today. We have Cliff from Canva, the world's most incredible creative platform, joining us. We have Joe from Mecca joining us. We have Rob from the AFL. He's like our superstar today. We're going to hear all about your incredible organization. Every company of every size, of every industry is here, and we have something for you. Please join us in the campground. We have loads of sessions, we have demos, we have Salesforce Plus. We have something for all of you. And don't forget to download the Events app to learn more. At Salesforce, we've always believed that values create value. It's hard to believe we're the 3rd largest software company in the world. When I joined 13 years ago, we were a little over $2 billion in revenue, and now we approach 35. It's kind of hard to believe. What I'm most proud of is the fact that we're one of the most innovative and most ethical companies in the world. And if you think about AI and the need for ethics and transparency, that is so relevant in today's world. And it's because everything we do is driven by our core values. Our number one value is trust. It always has been. Your data is not our product. We don't talk about customer success, we talk about customer obsession. It's about the material impact that's made on your organizations, helping you to connect with your customers. We talk about innovation. We have retooled every single one of our products to be AI first. You're gonna hear today about the Einstein One platform. Relevant, easy, integrated. And equality and sustainability are not words at headquarters on a poster. This is part of the culture and the DNA of our organization. We're proud at Salesforce to be net zero, but it's more than that. We've invested in solar farms in Queensland. We've planted over 150,000 trees in Victoria. And right here in New South Wales, our new Sydney tower that opened up in September is one of the most sustainable office towers in the entire city. For us, we take this quite seriously. We are powering the world's largest energy and utilities companies right here in Australia and globally to be net zero and drive the energy transition. We've always believed that business is the greatest platform for change. You see, 25 years ago, we pioneered the 1-1-1 model. We give away 1% of our time, equity, and product. But let's be real, that's easy to do in 1999 when there's no money in the bank. Now the numbers are getting quite large. But please pay special attention to what we've done right here in our local community. We've given away over $10 million in grants, volunteered over 350,000 hours, and we have over 1,000 Australian companies that have taken the 1% pledge, powered by companies like Atlassian, with Scott and Mike pushing that into our community. We are committed to Australia and New Zealand. We are so committed. Today we are announcing we're gonna give away another $1 million to two incredible organizations. The Aurora Education Foundation, that brings up First Nations people and creates job opportunities, and Deadly Science, which is bringing the STEM community to the First Nations community. If you're with one of these two incredible organizations, won't you stand up and be recognized? Woo! Thank you for being here. Thank you. Calling all trailblazers. We're 20 million strong, which is hard to believe. This is growing like a weed. AI is driving an incredible growth in the number of trailblazers. I see you all over the audience. Any trailblazers out there? How about, let's try that again. Are there any trailblazers out there? We're predicting 245,000 jobs in the Salesforce economy coming right here to Australia. But there's a challenge. There's a skills gap. We don't have enough people to fill the jobs, and we want to help. We have an online gamified learning platform called Trailhead. Skill up, get certified, propel your career, your community, and your company. And what better way to hear from our Trailblazer community than to hear from one of our very own. Livia, why don't you join us up on stage? Thank you so much for joining us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey with Salesforce? By the way, how many certifications do you have? Fill us in.
15.
That's a lot. So tell us a little bit about your journey with Salesforce.
Hi, everyone. Wow, this is amazing. My name is Livia Viana. I'm a senior Salesforce functional consultant and a Salesforce career mentor at Swan Technology Solutions. Basically, my story began because before Salesforce, I wasn't really happy. I felt that I had a lot of potential that was actually being wasted. And I really knew that I could be more productive, that I could be much more than what I was doing at work and what I was doing. So one day I'm at home and I start strategizing. What if I become a specialist in a technology? Maybe that will help me break the barriers. And then I saw CRM, and CRM, it was similar to what I was doing, and then Salesforce appears to be an option. Okay, then I go to sleep. Next day, when I'm going to work, and the work that I was really unhappy, on my way, I see a Salesforce sign on my way to work. And that sign was not on my phone. It wasn't, an algorithm from humans. It was an algorithm from heaven, because it was a sign. Just the day before was the first time I learned what it is, and today I see this. So I decided to take a chance and started emailing companies saying, I know you want a senior architect, but what about a junior administrator? And I would send emails every day, and I would be working really hard on Trailhead. And I got one response from all attempts. But I only needed one, right? So I did the most of it. I worked really hard. First one to arrive, last one to leave. I really want to prove that I was capable. And surprisingly, it worked. If I gave 300%, I get 300%. And I wasn't used to that. I was used to work really hard, and where are the results? And my life changed. It changed so much that I saw that I needed to change the life of other Latinas like me, who don't have a voice, who want to break through, who want to just have a fair, life, equal life. So I started mentoring, and since then, I'm a mentor. And the story I just told you briefly, it's multiplied. We have much more Latinas now working and proving we can be engineers, we can, do an amazing work like anyone else. And the project is called now Cygnus Tech at Swan. And our goal is to basically keep mentoring and open the doors that they shouldn't be closed just because of who you are. And thank you, Salesforce, for just, helping me, and this is our story.
That's so incredible. You're such an inspiration to so many. It's incredible what you've done to amplify and really serve your community. Do you have any advice for the other trailblazers in the room?
Yeah, so study hard, skill up. There is an opportunity, believe it or not. And study the market. The AI revolution is here, so there are a lot of new things you can learn and give you a competitive advantage. And for businesses as well, give a chance, When you do good, you hire someone who is beginning, you don't know how much passion and motivation can overcome the other checkboxes that are not ticked at the beginning.
Well, wait, before you go, we have one more surprise for you. Where's the team? Are you announcing a gold hoodie? Please join me in congratulating Livia. So incredible. We got to get a selfie before we go.
Oh my God,
Hang on, here we go. Hang on, let's get it on. Here we go. Woo! Thank you so much.
My legs up.
It's hard to follow that. Since 1999, we've had one singular vision. How do we help connect our customers to theirs? That's it. And it started with humble beginnings. We had one cloud, we had Sales Cloud. And here we are all these years later with the world's most complete CRM platform, the world's #1 AI CRM. When I started 13 years ago, we had begun to build this out. We had Sales Cloud, we had Service Cloud, we had Platform, and we were just beginning to get into marketing. And here we are with the world's most complete portfolio. This is your customer 360. This is your single source of truth. This is your operating system for growth. We have MuleSoft to help integrate in all of that rich data so that it can drive more value to the application set. We have Slack as a UI. Yes, it's its own application. It's also the way that I run my entire business. Every approval, every workflow, all my meetings, all my briefing decks, everything that flows into Sales Cloud, all happens right here on my phone. And now we have Gartner Magic Quadrant leadership in all of the different categories that we play. In December, we announced Hyperforce coming to Australia. As part of that, that powers Marketing Cloud personalization. It also powers the AWS Marketplace. If you're a customer in the audience and you're an AWS Marketplace customer, make sure you ask your account team what that means. But it also enabled us to bring Data Cloud to this region. The most important announcement in the history of our company is Data Cloud. And just last week, Gartner announced the new Magic Quadrant for the customer data platform, and we were humbled to be named #1 in this category. Woo! But the world has changed. To join me on stage, to take you through some of this, we wanted to welcome up Rowena Westphalen, our SVP of Customer Advisory, AI, and Innovation. Please join me in welcoming my friend Ro to the stage.
Thanks, Frank. Great to be here. Amazing.
All right, so it's amazing to see the success of our customers. We survey thousands of customers per year to hear all about their results. And there's a very balanced impact on efficiency and productivity, but also moving up market and driving more growth. Flight Center, shout out to Clint and the team. They just delivered a presentation seeing great productivity growth, and also Pay.com, growth at hyperscale. The challenge is everything sort of changed, right? You go back 10 years ago, wave one was predictive. We invested in the Einstein platform that still powers trillions of transactions per month and is embedded in so many of our applications. And then everything sort of stopped last year. Quick question, maybe you can help me with this, Ro.
Sure.
Does anyone remember where you were in April of 1993?
I remember. Do you guys remember? April 93?
This is
Some of us?
when the internet became public. It took 7 years for 100 million people to join online. And then there was mobile. And then there was social. It took years and years and years to get that kind of scale. And then 2023 hits, and 100 million people get access to ChatGPT in a period of 7 weeks. But there's some concerns, right, Ro? There's concerns that we hear. We talk to customers every day. We hear concerns like, there's great Gen AI in the consumer space, but what does that mean in the enterprise? Is it safe? Where does the data come from? Is it grounded in customer? Can I trust it? What about AI and hallucinations? So with that, why don't you take us through wave 3 with your clicker.
I need the power, Frank. I need the power.
And tell us where we are today.
Thank you so much, Frank. Ladies and gentlemen, Frank Fillmann. We're so lucky to have him in the country with us. I love partnering with you, Frank. And it is an incredibly exciting time, right? The wave 3, we're at the cusp of wave 3. We're starting to see glimpses of wave 4. Frank asked you to remember where those of you were around in 1993, where you were. I'm going to take you back as well. Who remembers when they first got an iPhone or a smartphone in their hand, right? And it was like, it's an iPod and a phone and a camera, and it's all in this like crazy device, right? Can you remember that? If you put yourself back at that time, could you have imagined a business model like Uber? I know I couldn't. There's probably 1 or 2 people, Livia probably could have, right? Like there's 1 or 2 people in this audience who could imagine that. And that's kind of where we're at with AI today, right? We know that there are all these possibilities, but we haven't really tapped into what's the full extent of this power that we've got available. And Salesforce is very excited about that. We've got a strong perspective on the future and celebration around AI. And I'm going to take you through that a little bit. But to kind of ground us in that, it's probably useful, first of all, just to talk a little bit about like what it's like to be a consumer of AI. Who's a consumer of AI? Who uses ChatGPT, GPT-4 at home? I mean, I know I do. It's got a great UI interface, conversational. I go home and I'm like, hi, Hamish. I go home and I'm like, ChatGPT, I've got half an onion, some leftover chicken, pasta, and 2 hungry teenagers. And it gives me a recipe, and I can cook my son's dinner quickly and easily with almost nothing in the fridge, and I'm a more productive mum. Amazing, right? And you can play around with the models. I'm sure you've all used ChatGPT. I use an app called Poe. It lets you try out all the different models. Claude, Anthropic, you know, whichever ones you want. And so I'm getting to know some of them. Hey, Steve, great to see Cochlear in the house. And that's great. But the data this is based on, it's from all over the world, right? It's from newspaper articles, it's from Reddit, it's from anything. It's from data that I don't really mind, you know, potentially having my recipes based off. I'm not sure I want all of that data in my business environment. I'm not sure I necessarily want to kind of ground my business decisions on that sort of data. So let's now think of the same AI model, the UI model and data from an enterprise perspective. So the UI is super interesting. I think we're all quite interested in the idea of a conversational business system at work. I love the idea. Big shout out to KPMG, amazing partners just over here. I shouldn't go into the audience, I just want to catch up with everyone. I love the idea of a and business application like CRM, Salesforce, just becoming another conversational colleague in your team, right? How cool is it if your system is just someone you can just chat to, like an amazing intern that will give you advice? So fantastic opportunities there. The models as well, they're amazing models that we can bring into our business right now. I think today the model space is changing a lot. I don't think there's an IT leader in the room who wants to lock themselves into one of the models now, right? Every day there seems to be new innovations and new changes. So, and then the data. The data is probably the most crucial part from an enterprise and business perspective. So let's go into that a little bit. Despite all the work that we busy IT people have been doing, gosh darn it, businesses still have lots of trapped data. You know, they've got their business applications, they've got unstructured data in the form of emails, they've got signal data, telemetry data, and it's all in different silos. They can't necessarily get a single view. And in that trapped data is trapped value. We know that. If we can unlock that value through the power of AI, there's lots of opportunities. But we can't just throw it all in there and unlock it. We've really got to think of some of the considerations. Frank already talked about trust so well. That's important. We've got obligations to our customers, to our regulators, to our employees. We can't just share customer information out there. We can't just share corporate information out there. We've also know that, great and creative as generative AI is, sometimes it gets things wrong, like there's toxicity and bias. It doesn't matter if I get a bad recipe. That's not going to be, I'm probably mess it up in the cooking anyway, right? But when I'm actually making decisions on behalf of my customer, on behalf of my business, I've got to be careful. And then probably most concerningly, it's disconnected from all the engagement and customer systems that you have. So at Salesforce, that's why we've announced the Einstein One platform. Einstein One is the platform that allows us to allow every business to have access to AI and allow everyone to have an Einstein. It's integrated, it's intelligent, it's automated, and you don't have to be a developer to take advantage of it. You can take advantage of it with low code or no code. And most beautifully, it's open. And so that's what we're going to talk to you about for the next half an hour or so. So when they talk about hiring people, they say, hire people cleverer than yourself. I've excelled in that. You'll see lots of my team talking today, and they're good. And I couldn't be more excited to introduce the person who's going to talk about our first chapter on integrated. She's an amazing star in our business. Her name is Jess Raceby. Where are you, Jess? Please come up and join me. Ladies and gentlemen, Jess Raceby to take us through integrated.
Thanks, Rowena.
Thanks, darling.
Hello, everyone. Lovely to see you all. Hope you've all been enjoying the morning, socializing, networking. And for the introverts out there like myself, don't worry, the day's nearly over. It's okay. It's okay. And for those of you who haven't met me yet, on a day-to-day basis, I talk to our customers about how they can leverage their data to grow their business. And as Frank and Rowena explained earlier, today we are announcing Einstein One. And I get to tell you about what that actually is. So what is Einstein One? It is our integrated platform that's leveraging our unified metadata framework. And you might be thinking, thanks for reading the slide. Great, Jess. But I'm going to hone in on two really chunky words that I just said. Unified metadata. What does that mean for us, and how does that benefit everybody in this room today? Basically means that all of the applications that we've built from the ground up or we've acquired over the last 25 years come together and speak the same language. That's all it is. And the benefits for you is that your applications can better be connected, automated, enriched, and you have a solid foundation of data to ground your AI with. Now, this integrated platform is so connected that any solution within Salesforce is natively integrated, including the likes of Data Cloud. So what are the benefits of fusing Data Cloud with Einstein One platform? I'm going to walk around here. And as Rowena mentioned, there are a variety of data types that we can unlock within an integrated platform. She mentioned unstructured data. Traditionally, if we group them in with structured data, they kind of slow each other down. But thanks to Einstein One platform fused with Data Cloud, unstructured data like your PDF files, your audio transcripts, your social media posts, your DocuSigns, these can now be indexed as a numerical representation. So you query that alongside a structured data object like sales, service, transactional, a lot of the objects that you may be a little bit more familiar with. So when we amalgamate all of these data types together into one repository, what do we get? We get the need to highlight governance, security, scalability. And speaking of scalability, I'm gonna come over here. We are processing over 2 trillion of records a month and counting. So everybody, how does this all work? Smile for the camera. How does this all work? On the left-hand side of this image here, we see all of our islands of data coming together, and they're all talking their same language. But thanks to the integrated metadata framework, through clicks, no code, you can select the existing attributes and objects that you're already leveraging within your CRM applications. And when I say that, I mean your marketing, your sales, your service loyalty, etc. And you can leverage them immediately within Data Cloud. Now, we know you don't just use Salesforce, okay? Yes, that's fine. If your data is sitting within a cloud infrastructure like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, fantastic. We want to help you scale your existing investments. Bring that data in if you need to untrap it, activate it somehow. We've got native connectors there. So if you've done something with your data, if you've made it a bit more queryable, if you've made it a little bit more structured, you can leverage our zero ETL connectivity. What that does, it means that you don't have to transform your data twice. You can virtualize that immediately within Data Cloud. That's your data lakes and warehouses layer. Now, there's a lot more connectivity that happens, but I got a small piece of real estate there on that slide. We'll go through that in a little bit more detail later. But once you have ingested all of your data in from the left, you can then further prep, transform, and harmonize your data to unlock it. It's now all speaking the same language. And now this unified metadata can feed into your CRM applications of choice, or we are open, we're agnostic, you can actually send it anywhere you like. So I've just gone through a mouthful of words then. What did I talk about? Quizzing you. Einstein One platform, fused with Data Cloud. What better way to bring this to life a little bit than to welcome one of our amazing customers, the Australian Football League. And for those of you who are like, what's that? It's the AFL, the AFL. We know it as the AFL. And for those of you who haven't heard from the AFL in a while, they're doing some amazing things. They're growing their strategies. They want at least one of you in your living rooms, on your sofa, to be a footy fan. And it doesn't just stop there. They want the next generation of our time to be footy fans as well. And I'm not going to steal their thunder. We're going to play a little highlight reel to showcase all of the updates that they've had so far. So let's play that reel, shall we?
Sport has the power to unite people and to bring people together from so many different, diverse backgrounds.
Seeing over 100,000 fans in one place, that is literally goosebumps. Working at the AFL, it is incredibly important for us to be custodians of the game.
The Australian Football League is a game that's been around for nearly 200 years now. The AFL has 18 clubs. 1 in 7 Australians consider themselves a fan of the AFL. That's a massive ecosystem. No one club is the same as the next club. They have different backgrounds, they have different needs. Giants are a new club and have been established in Greater Western Sydney.
We're a small club that's growing, but ultimately we're kind of the little fish in a big market. You know, we have to fight for everything we get.
Being able to understand what fans want in a new market is critical to the success of a growing club. We've been able to connect with our fans in a whole new way through the combination of CRM, AI, data, and trust.
We needed to build one platform to be scalable, needs to be reliable, needs to work for every one of those organisations. And Einstein One platform does that in the best possible way. We now can see that full view of customers.
We've been leveraging Tableau and its mapping capability to create a really visual tool Being able to bring multiple different data sets in together into the one dashboard in a way that really enriches the data. Taken our member data and combined it with the Australian Bureau of Statistics census data to get a holistic picture of where our members are in relation to the demographics of the area.
Our ability to use the AI tools built into something like the Einstein One platform to augment our people so we can continue to service our fans well into the future and to give them hyper-personalised content. You're getting information from your club about your fandom. We've seen hundreds of hours of manual work taken out of our club ecosystems across every club on the platform. And in the year 2023, we saw of 10 of the clubs on the Einstein One platform, 8 of those grew their membership, and of the last 2 grew their membership by more than 10%.
There's a lot of discussion around LLMs leveraging data from a lot of different places, but we know our data is safe with Salesforce.
And that's a responsibility that's incredibly important to everyone. Our jobs, all of our jobs, is to make the game better in the time that you're working the AFL.
Whilst the product on the field is AFL and that's what it's about building a community that is so much bigger than just the sport that we play. That's where Salesforce comes in.
Thanks for the AFL team for sharing their story today. There were lots of insights and experiences highlighted in that video, and I'm biased. Let's just remember that they were all driven by data. Now we get to see a little sneak peek of what that looks like within Data Cloud and Tableau Pulse today. Helping us see this is our wonderful demo team, the lovely Rusha and Miles. Let's give them a warm round of applause. I love the AFL shirts. I'm not trying to be corporate cringe by doing this, by the way. Okay, so everybody, we are in Data Cloud user interface, and I want to introduce you to Naomi Schaffer. She is a primary school teacher from Sydney's West. And I've got my AFL analytics hat on, and I'm pretty disappointed with what I see, because as an analyst, I know that there's a lot more data that I could be surfacing within this user interface. So why am I showing all of that today, then? I actually do want to join the dots a little bit and show off a little bit. So let's hit the Data Streams tab and get connected. Here, I'm going to be navigating to the native out-of-the-box connectors available within the user interface today. For the AFL, there are 2 connectors that I'll call out today that are relevant for them. They've got a lot of transactional data with Ticketmaster, and that's sitting in their data warehouse Snowflake. So with 0 ETL connectors, that connectivity I was talking about earlier, they can immediately virtualize the existing tables and objects they've already governed within their warehouse and virtualize them within Data Cloud. Now, if you want to further automate those processes with any connectivity within Data Cloud, you can also use our native connectivity with MuleSoft. Once all of your data is ingested, it'll appear on the left-hand side. And because we care about governance, we care about lineage, you can go back to any of that data on the left-hand side at any point in time. But because of that, it will bring its own individual schemas, it'll bring with it its own individual naming conventions and attributes, and we don't really want that. We want the purpose of harmonizing from left to right is that you will have all of your applications now speaking one language. So what do I mean by that? I mean 10 versions of a ticket ID, 5 variations of a transaction order now become one on the right-hand side. Now, the outcome of this is that we do see Naomi's full profile, the profile that I thought that I would see when I first logged into the user interface. And we can see all of her transactions in the center there on that console. We can see all of her Ticketmaster information coming through from Snowflake. We can see her real-time streaming signals coming in, behavioral engagement records. All these data signals feed into her unified attributes on the left-hand side. So we can see that she's a massive Giants fan, that her propensity to buy is huge, she's a footy fanatic, and we can even see the marketing campaigns that she's sat across. Now, if I was to prospect to Naomi now versus before, I believe the engagements across sales, service, marketing, loyalty, and beyond would be much more relevant to Naomi and to the AFL. Now, let's remember, everyone, that Einstein One platform and the unified metadata framework is feeding all of our user interfaces. Data Cloud, any CRM application. So we're going to zoom out of Data Cloud and zoom into Tableau Pulse. For those of you who haven't heard of Tableau Pulse, it is our insights application powered by AI. I'm on the home screen and I'm seeing a bunch of text. Yes, it has been generated by AI. There's a few insights here though. I'm gonna hone in on membership growth. What is that spike there? 44.8%, I see. I'm pretty curious about that. Let's click into that. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down and I'm pleased to see that Tableau Pulse knows that I'm curious about this spike. But I'm pretty picky with my data, so I'm gonna ask, yep, and I'm gonna type in factor, and automatically populated some questions that I want. Which factor had low? Yes, you're going so fast. Anyway, so the factors that drove this particular spike, I can see here, but I can also see school programs are pretty low. Thanks to Einstein One Platform, I can create a segment off the back of this insight within this application. Now let's keep that in the back of our minds, because we will continue that part of the story later on. For those of you who are wondering how to get your data connected, how to explore insights the way the AFL team have today, I'm announcing free Data Cloud today. Yay! And everyone, I'm not Oprah, so you don't have to bend over backwards to look under your seat for this freebie. You just have to pop out your smartphones and scan that QR code. And whilst you're doing that, I'll explain this freebie in a little bit more detail. You do get to unify up to 10,000 profiles, and you get 2 Tableau Creator licenses. So I'm excited to hear all about the insights that you unlock there. Now, I've gone through a lot of information just now. So to quickly recap again, we've gone through Einstein One Platform, fused with Data Cloud, and now Chapter 2, we're going to walk through how AI and intelligence is interwoven and unlocked through our CRM applications. Who better to walk us through all of this than our very own CMO of APAC, Leandro Perez.
Thank you. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Jess. Great job. Her first keynote. Another round of applause, please, for Jess. Great job. All right, folks. At Salesforce, we have been a pioneer in artificial intelligence for CRM since 2014, an entire decade. And throughout that time, our engineers have dropped more hits than Taylor Swift. Oh, tough crowd, but I thought that's better than I thought. All right, fantastic. They've been introducing artificial predictive AI into the AI platform and fusing it up into all of the apps we've been hearing about this morning. Here are just a few. Forecasting in Sales Cloud, Einstein bots in Service Cloud, Einstein recommendations in Commerce Cloud. It's truly incredible. In fact, if you fast forward to today, 1 trillion, that's right, with a T, AI predictions every single week for all of you, our customers. That deserves a round of applause for our engineers. That is incredible. Now, we love innovation at Salesforce, but what we love more is your success. That's right. Einstein One delivers intelligence across the platform for all of you in region. And here are just a few examples. Look at this. Barbecues galore. They have doubled their online sales with Einstein recommendations in Commerce Cloud. That's game-changing. Spotify, 40% increase to their sales team productivity with Einstein lead scoring in Sales Cloud. And Mecca, okay, my daughter's absolute favorite store. Is that the same for others in the room here? Mecca is an amazing store. My daughter spends way too much there. But look, 75% chat abandonment. That's on their online store with something that's super cool. It's called Miss Mecca. She's powered by an Einstein bot in Service Cloud. Truly game-changing. Now, we've been hearing, Rowena spoke about it, Frank talked about it, the generative AI wave. It's coming. It's not stopping. And at Salesforce, we wanted to ensure that you could leverage this, that you could tap into this. So what did we do? At Dreamforce, we previewed something very special, Einstein Copilot, an AI conversational assistant for your CRM, for Salesforce. You can now talk to Salesforce. This is game-changing. This is a paradigm shift. This is as big as the iPhone was back in the day. And what I want to show with you today, and you're going to see in the demo, is it's one consistent experience across sales, service, marketing. All your teams are going to use the same Copilot. This is going to become key when we see this in the demo. Now, a global first. Today, we've announced that Einstein Copilot is now beta and available to all of you. Let's give that a round of applause. Yes! Incredible. All right, folks, let's stop talking about it and bring this to life. I'm going to welcome back the demo team. Kristen, Miles, love the Giants, Swannies, pick your team. Amazing, incredible. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to pick up where we dropped off before. I think some people know this one. Can you see? Yes, AFL. And I'm going to try my best, no pressure here, to handball this downfield. Here we go. Oh, amazing. All right. All right, let's change gears. Let's get into this demo. Now, what we saw before from Jess is that she was building a segment for primary school teachers or school teachers that haven't got an AFL school program. So we're going to pick this up from marketing. I'm biased, it's my favorite starting spot. And we have someone called Joanne. She's a marketer at the AFL. Now, marketers, I don't have to explain this to you, but for everyone else, marketing's hard. You've got to create messaging, you've got to create assets, you've got to run little events like this, right? And one thing they've got to do also is launch emails. So Joanne, the marketer, wants to target the group, this segment, with a newsletter. Now, what she can do is a little different to before. This is a blank page. This is a horrible experience. She knows there's hours ahead of her of creating an email, but she's now augmented. She's augmented by Einstein Copilot. So if you can see that cute little head up there, let's hit that. Welcome to Einstein Copilot. Einstein Copilot is going to augment her day. So all she needs to do is say, help me write the first draft of this newsletter. And just like that, we're going to generate an email that's on brand, leveraging all of the emails that AFL has done before, the most successful ones, and create the first version. Now, don't get scared. Humans are always in the loop and always in control. So Joanne, the marketer, can make some changes. She wants to add upcoming school events. She knows that teachers want to be part of a community. So let's add that. Next, she wants to know that there are resources for the school teachers to use. School teachers are busy. They want to know that AFL has lesson plans available for them. So let's add that. Look, folks, in a matter of 3 prompts, we have generated a completely new email that's on brand and on the voice and tone of AFL. This is game-changing. This is saving time for your business and for marketers everywhere. But let's change gears. That was marketing. Let's pick up in sales. Now, at the AFL, they have a particular role called the AFL Game Development Coordinator. A lot of words. Let's just say we have a gentleman called Dylan. Dylan has this role, and his role is to grow the member base and to ensure that new players at a grassroots level are coming. This is his landing page here in sales. He can see at a bird's eye view how the membership pipeline's going, with the new members that are coming, his tasks, his schedule. He sees this all, but he is also augmented by Copilot. So let's open the same experience that Joanne in marketing had before, but now for Dylan, the coordinator. He wants to know where he should start his day, so he's going to ask, what opportunities should I focus on? Now, what we're going to see here is that Naomi, who we met earlier, has been highlighted. Now, as we've been talking about trust and so forth, we want Dylan to know why Naomi was highlighted. So as you can see there, it's highlighting that Naomi opened that email from Joanne in marketing, and thanks to the connectivity with Data Cloud, she was actually on the website 2 hours ago. This is super exciting. I'm sure for the reps out there, they know that that's a critical signal. So he's going to go ahead and look at her record. Now, we've seen this record before. This is called a unified profile, but it's a little different. Dylan is in sales, so his view's being customized by his awesome admin, like Livia over there, for him. And he sees something really cool, a calculated insight. This is an AI predicted field that Einstein used to surface the relevance to Dylan. So 92% likely to become a prospect and eventually close. Incredible. All right. Just like we saw before, there are some things missing on this screen. In fact, in the middle, we have structured data, but we don't have information about Naomi or her school. So now Dylan can go and ask Copilot, fill me in. And what we're going to get back, thanks to all that connectivity with Data Cloud, is information about her school and also that she's been to the Giants games. That was that Ticketmaster data that you saw connected with Data Cloud. So she's been to 5 games. She's a huge Giants fan. Dylan wants to ensure he doesn't forget this. So he adds this straight to the record. This is now there for later. And now he wants to work out what's the best way to engage with Naomi. So he can ask Copilot that too. Now here's the key. Copilot has access to all of the preference information that Naomi has shared before. And so as you can see again in that top sentence, Naomi selected, don't call me. I'm a primary school teacher, I'm busy, I'm teaching kids. Makes sense, right? So send her an email. And of course, if you look at the past, on-site meetings with teachers have been most successful. So I want to highlight one thing just before we move off. Just hold on, team. This is critical. Outside tools just repeat text. This is an action plan. This is an action plan personalized for Dylan with 2 tasks. He's going to add this to his to-do list, but he wants to knock off this email straight away. So again, Dylan, just like before, we had the marketing example, he can also generate emails. And the email, again, different from the publicly available tools that you might be using today, is grounded on your CRM data. So let's take a look. It mentions the school that Naomi is from. It mentions that she is a Giants fan. It mentions her favorite club. He also asked for a Slack channel to be included so he can connect with her. And scroll down a little bit, it included a primary school kickoff guide. Einstein knows that she's not a secondary school teacher. This is the difference between an open web general AI assistant and something that's grounded on your CRM data. All right, folks, let's flip over to Slack because this is a great place for Naomi to learn more about the program, interact with other teachers in a group for other teachers. But for Dylan, the coordinator, he can now look at his whole membership base. As you can see, there's 300 teachers in this group. They're having conversations. They're sharing success. Very, very active group. Teachers are chatty folks. But he has been busy and he's worried that he's going to miss a question. So what he can do now is leverage the AI capabilities that have been brought to Slack and summarize this channel. So all that data has been summarized, and that first post there is someone that's asking Dylan a question. He doesn't want to leave that teacher hanging. So there's a link there, he can go and answer that later. All right, folks, we're going to fast forward. He's gone and met Naomi. Naomi's really excited. She's following all of these steps to launch the program. And Dylan's in work, he's in Slack, he's in the flow of work, and he gets a message which is triggered by Sales Cloud. It lets him know that the program has been launched and, very importantly, that there's an upcoming Teacher Appreciation Day. This is Einstein working behind the scenes proactively, and it's asking, do you want to invite her to that? I think that Dylan wants to do that. That's a great idea, right? So this triggers another email that Joanne in marketing created. And what I want to welcome now is that Naomi is right here in the room. So let's give a shout out. Naomi's made it to the game. She is over here. Let's bring up Naomi. Yes. Let's give a round of applause. Primary school teacher launching a program. Next generation of AFL players. Truly incredible. Thank you, Naomi. All right, folks. I've just shown you very quickly just a sliver of the new Gen AI features that we've added to the Einstein One platform. So this is probably the one time I'm going to ask you to get your phones out because this next slide is really critical. This slide here is going to show you how Einstein One makes every single app that we have at Salesforce intelligent. That's right, over 30 new. More phones up. Take this photo. Your IT team's going to want it. Your CEO's going to want it. Over 30 new generative AI capabilities across sales, service, marketing, commerce, Slack, the platform, MuleSoft, Tableau, DataFam out there, and all of the industry clouds. Truly game-changing because they're all available today or later in this quarter. This isn't a year away from now. All right, folks. Yes, you've all got your pictures. With that, I hope that I've shown you how intelligence comes through to the CRM platform. And next, to showcase how you can customize and automate in a low and no-code way. Please welcome back Rowena Westphalen. Let's go. Give it up.
Thanks, Leandro. All right, I just want to clarify something. First off, people, the Swannies are the team that the Westphalen family follow. So I thought I'd show my loyalty. Yeah, Rob? So I loved seeing how Leandro was helping the AFL and talking about how the AFL drives intimacy with their customers using AI, making their teams better. And that driving that intimacy, it's something that every single business wants. But another thing that every business wants is, of course, productivity. And who else wants that? Employees. We did a recent piece of research. It's live today. It's great research all about Australian employees. And they told us that they think they spend 47% of their time on low value or repetitive tasks. That's much higher than other parts of the world. Can you imagine if we could free people up from all those low value repetitive tasks and get them to use that, to spend that time building their customer relationship, having better work-life balance at home, freeing up. This is the possibility and the excitement around AI. And the Einstein One platform is poised to make that possible for us. First of all, directly from within Einstein One, we've integrated Flow, our business process orchestration platform. So right from the place that you work, you can automate and customize every single repetitive task that you need to do. And you don't need to be a techie developer to get this done, right? You don't need to have to write code or program. You just need to be someone who doesn't want to do repetitive tasks. And right then and there, you can go into Copilot Studio and actually automate your work. It's also backed by our amazing, vibrant ecosystem. Salesforce has had one of the most vibrant ecosystems for years in technology and the App Exchange, and we're supplementing that with many innovations that supplement our amazing AI capabilities. So this rich technology foundation is there for you to leverage, and as people innovate, then you can take advantage of it. So that's phenomenal. And it's all uncovered through this amazing product that's gone live today. And I'm trying to click to my next slide, but there it is. The Copilot Studio, that's gone beta. And the Prompt Builder, that's GA today, available today and ready to use. I'm going to show you what that looks like in a moment in a real-life demo. I'm going to show you a no-code, low-code example of creating a prompt and customizing. But before I do that, I want to give you a little bit of a chat about what's happening behind the scenes. We've talked a lot about the trust layer, and that's a really important part of making it safe for businesses to take advantage of Einstein One. But what actually is going on in the trust layer? Well, I'm going to take you through it. This is a little architecture diagram that is going to show you how the trust layer actually works. So, on the left-hand side, we've got the user in the place that they usually work. Often it's Salesforce, it's from a mobile app. Increasingly, it's from great conversational interfaces like Slack. It's where a business person is getting their job done. They submit a request or a prompt through to the AI application, and it comes into Salesforce, and the first thing Salesforce does is it checks the security and credentials of that person. Can they access the data that they're actually asking about? Then we do this thing that we call grounding. Now, a lot of the prompts you saw earlier, they've already been grounded, and Jess talked about that a lot as well. Grounding is where we add supplemental information under the covers to provide more context in the prompt so the AI gives us a better answer. This is incredibly important, and you'll see this coming to life a little bit in the demo in a moment. Then we also mask data. If a prompt's got a customer name in it, if it's got corporate information in it, you don't necessarily want to just pass that over to an external model. So we mask it in such a way that it can still be utilized, but it's protected. The prompt then gets sent out to the model itself, and we've specifically ensured that there is zero retention. We don't want an external model learning from our customer or our business data unless we're explicitly providing it. So then AI does its magical work, generates the response, and sends it back. And before we send it back to the end user, it checks it for toxicity and adds an audit trail. So every single time you're seeing us demoing and doing that, great interaction, remember all this stuff is happening under the covers to ensure the obligations that we have to our customers, to our community, and to our regulators are being held at the highest possible standard. And so with that, I want to show you a demo. And so we're going to do a last shout out to the amazing Rusha and Miles. Hi, guys. And let's switch over to the demo. So we're back with Dylan. And Dylan's a pretty eager team player, isn't he? He's doing all his job fantastically well. And so Dylan is going to actually get ready for a meeting with Naomi. And so he thinks, well, I've got this Copilot Einstein thing. Maybe it can help me prepare for the meeting. So he asks her, how do I prepare? And this is the answer that that AI gives us. Okay, one would hope that Dylan didn't need generative AI to tell him that in order to have a successful meeting, he needed to define the objective, right? It's a fairly generic response. It's not adding any value to his work. So it's like, okay, Dylan's quite a clever guy. He knows that he can think of the AI model like an intern. You have to onboard them. You have to give them the context that they need, and then they'll give you great results back. So he knows the best way to onboard this intern is to go into the Copilot studio. So with that, we're going to take Dylan into the Copilot studio. And remember, he's a game development manager. He's not a programmer. He's just someone who doesn't want to do repetitive tasks. So he goes into the Copilot studio, and he's actually going to create a new action. So right out of the box in Copilot Studio, we provide all these actions. Sometimes we think of them like skills. They're all these things that you can just use straight out of the box. Now, there isn't a specific skill about preparing for a meeting yet, so we're going to create a new action to define that meeting preparation. In this case, it's going to be something that we call a prompt template. So they're selecting prompt template, and once again, we get a nice blank studio representation so that we can build our prompt. So right from within here, I'm going to actually type in what my prompt's going to be. Can you help me prepare for a customer? And it's also really important that I want to add some augmented information. So in this case, I'm adding a contact and a contact name. Okay, great. Let's see what that's like. If I've told it I'm meeting Naomi, maybe they'll give me better information. Okay, and we can see we're testing the response there. It's still not great. They've used Naomi's name in the response, but it's still this generic thing, define the objective, prepare for the meeting. That doesn't really help me, right? So what I need to give the AI is other contextual information that's going to make the response more powerful. So let's do that. Directly from here, I was able to pull in a whole lot more Salesforce fields, including the opportunities. I could also be pulling in unstructured data here now, conversations from service engagements, other things. I also know, but that's all I'm going to do for now. I also know I probably want to do some sort of business process after this. I probably want to do a meeting recap or an email. So right from within here, I can consume flow. I add a flow in here. Okay, let's test this prompt now. And you can see we're getting a much better quality answer. So let's go back to Salesforce, the place where Dylan works, but this could just as easily be Slack or an app or wherever he feels most comfortable. And let's ask the question again. Einstein, I want to prepare for this meeting with Naomi. That trust layer stuff's happening. We're masking, we're grounding, we're taking toxicity away. And look, now I've got a much more useful response. It tells me she's a school teacher. It tells me about a previous conversation that we've had. It tells me about insights that I've had. It even suggests questions that I could answer. That's powerful. So that's the difference between a generic prompt going to a user versus something that we've grounded in a safe way. And you know what? What we're also going to add is that meeting recap. We just add it in, and we can schedule a task directly within CRM. Incredibly exciting. You see how a productive guy like Dylan can take a repetitive task out of his day, but also share that with all of his colleagues so that he can take that time out of his day. So that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed that demo. I'm going to hand back to Frank, who's wearing a GWS scarf. Really, Frank? 5 minutes in Sydney and you've chosen the wrong team. Rob, you're going to have to talk to him. Right. Here you go, Frank. We'll talk about that later.
All right, any footy fans in the audience? Why don't we welcome up Rob from the AFL. Come on up. Millions of fans and members. Can you just, in your words, help us understand what is Salesforce doing to drive that member and fan experience?
Yeah, I think for us at the AFL, our mission and goal is to progress the game so that everyone can share in its heritage and possibilities. And what that practically means for us on a day-to-day basis is that we are the custodians of the game. It's important for us to grow the game for future generations and make it better than the time that we were at the AFL. And so part of the work we've been doing with Salesforce over the last few years has been making sure that really every interaction that we have with our fans, with our participants, with people involved in the game is underpinned by the Salesforce platform. And that underpins our activities moving well into the future. So for us, we've just announced spending $1 billion over the next 10 years on game development. So we will invest in all elements of what we do, whether that's our NAB Oz kickers kicking the football on the ground at halftime, which hopefully some of the people in this room have had their kids do, or whether it's a 55
5-year-olds playing Masters football every other Sunday with their mate. What we get to do by using Salesforce is bring people closer to the game. And moving forward to operationalize that $1 billion investment is having all of those interactions powered by the Einstein One platform and making sure that we continue in our goal to bring a football to every home.
Unbelievable. How about a round of applause for Rob and the entire AFL team? Thank you so much for joining us. And this is how we make everyone an Einstein. So excited about the announcements shared today. This is about conversational AI based on trusted data in the flow of work. The future is here. We talked to customers this week. They're getting started in less than an hour on this set of capabilities. But don't let the journey end here. Visit us up on the slide, the Data Cloud. There's a link provided to learn more. If you want to learn more about AI, please visit us at Einstein.com. And as we talked about, if you want to supercharge your career, please join us at our free Trailhead.com offering. Don't forget to join us back here at 2:20. We have our small business keynote. At 3:10, we have our sales keynote. And we've got one more slide for you. There's been a few Swiftie references, okay? Can we go to the next slide? Maybe hit my clicker since I forgot it. Thank you. Do me a favor. Anyone go to the Swiftie concert this week? Anyone want to go to the Swiftie concert? I was so excited. I was like a 15-year-old going to a Swiftie concert getting started today. Do me a favor. Take your phones out. Take your phone out. Click the QR code. Take the survey. Give us feedback. It's valuable. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day. Join us in the campground. Have an amazing world tour.